As soon as he sees it, he seems very intrigued because obviously none of the crew have actually seen what this thing is. You've only told them about it.
Mm-hmm.
He holds it in his hand like he weighs it a bit, kind of tosses it back and forth, gives it a good look over. It's a little bit heavier than I was expecting, but what's it supposed to be? He says, generally perplexed.
Honestly, as far as I'm aware, it's just a bird.
So it's an ugly looking thing, ain't it? Oh, I've never seen a
Certainly
bird like
nothing.
this.
Yeah, certainly nothing I would put on my mantle.
You see him walk over to this chest. He pulls out a key out of his pocket, unlocks it, puts the object in the chest, and you see him lock it back up. He shows you the key, and he puts it in an inner pocket in his coat, pats it, letting you know where the key's at, showing you he has it.
Gotcha.
And he tells you basically, he says, I know we seem a bit odd paced for you, especially after last night, so if you'd like to go talk to anybody in specific, well, I guess now would be the time before, well, we have another night, he says as the ship is easily cruising along. The captain will wander out up to the quarterdeck and relieve Stanton and take the wheel himself.
Okay. I'm going to... I want to go talk to Florentine.
Alright. You are not sure where she is, but you probably assume below deck.
Yes. So I head below deck.
Okay, head below deck. Alright, the main hallway here, you don't see anybody.
Okay.
You're met with the normal sounds of the ship as you quietly putt along through the skies. Nothing is, catching your ears. No exciting scent yet, as it's a little bit before time to, prepare any sort of food from the galley. You believe Pele's maybe just about to start on food kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. Is there anyone... I'm gonna knock on doors.
Okay.
Well, actually, they said knocking isn't necessary, so I open this door.
You basically Murdstone's just chilling out on his bed. He seems to be reading a little book. He gives you a nod and says, "Anything I can help you with?"
Nothing really. I'm just checking up on people.
Do you give a quick look about his room?
Just a quick glance.
All right.
Try to get to know him better by what he keeps.
All rooms you see now that you've seen someone else's room are set up the same as yours, just a bed, a desk, the bare essentials. As you don't believe people actually live on the ship 24/7, you believe, as expected, they come and go as well as other people as well. You don't believe anyone has a real set room. You look about, and basically, from what you can gather, Murdstone's room's very clean and tidy. He's got a few little piles of clothes here and there. He's got a small little bag of tools, as probably expected, as he is an engineer, a craftsman of some kind. He's got just some general piles of ropes sitting on his desk, as well as you can kind of see sitting, kind of like half kicked underneath the desk, some looks like more rope, but it looks slightly rotted, some old rope of some kind, as well as a small little potted shrub subtly hiding kind of behind this chest to the side.
Okay. Oh, I just give him a nod and close the door. Gonna try this one.
Alright, as soon as you open it, you see Florentine at her desk. She is reading through a bunch of scrolls. You are instantly taken aback at all the literature in this room. All the desk is piled with books, as well as piles of books line about the room. There are scrolls as well. The entire room looks like a personal library. As far as the few you can instinctively see the spines of, these appear to be elven books and elven literature.
Hello, Miss Florentine.
She just holds up a finger as you can probably assume she's still reading something.
I just wait patiently.
A few little tense minutes go by, and you see her close a book and essentially turn around. Yes, what can I help you with? She says.
I'm just checking up on everybody and apologizing for the danger I've been putting you all through.
Okay, she says. Well, don't just stand there. Have a seat. Come in, I suppose. She kind of
I
motions to the bed.
I take a seat.
As soon as you walk through the door, you're instantly met with about 5 or 6 little steps of crunched glass under your feet. You see, broken glass has just been kind of thrown all about the entryway near the door. Just kind of crunches under your feet.
Is everything okay? I say, motioning to the broken glass.
She kind of gives you a look over and says, I'm sure you, of all people, would know a home security measurement like this, even on a bare bones budget.
Gotcha.
She says, can't have people waltzing in and out of your room in the middle of the night.
You make a very valid point. Honestly, I should have done something similar.
She says, so, I see you're taking this well, despite, she pauses, kind of like looks you from head to toe a couple times. Despite you, she says.
Yes, well, when you're almost killed several times, you kind of start getting numb to it.
How shrewd. Numb's not a word we would use. It's more of accustomed, she says.
Hmm. I can see that one working a lot better than numb.
Numb would show quite a lack of enthusiasm. Numb would show a lack of character in general. Don't try to lose who you are based on what you do or what you encounter. If anything, it should make you stronger. I especially try to expect this, and I say expect lightly, of a half-elf, she says.
Sage words of advice.
Well, I suppose you're also here to borrow one of my books, she says. Everybody else does.
No, I honestly was just here to apologize and be civil.
Well, she gives you a reluctant nod. She holds out a hand and says, well, you are certainly forgiven. We meet many a people, and everything seems, well, rather dreary and boring with the rest of them, so I'm actually quite, well, you see you're really struggling for the word. It's unexpected to have you here, and it's quite a change from the normal. Thank you. She holds a hand out to you.
I gently shake her hand. You're quite welcome, and thank you for your hospitality.
She gives you a nod and instinctively turns back to her books as if done with you.
I leave, trying to gently walk over the glass so I don't destroy any more of it.
Well, you crunch a few more times. It's really finally dusted about.
Ah, alright.
You kind of scrape off the little bits of it at the door, trying not to track it out in the hallway.
And then I go into the next room.
You instantly walk in and you basically, no one is in the room. You take a few steps in, and you're instantly accosted by Rothwell, kind of just jumping on your back. Who are you? Who sent you? Kind of cupping her hands over your eyes as well.
Lottie is just me.
Says, I know, but I don't get visitors. Says, and kind of just bounces on her bed and goes back to you see she's probably in the middle of, but she picks up her large, like gunpowdered rifle and begins to clean it again. You see a cloth sitting there like she was just doing that. Excuse me. You instantly are met with this smell of just some oddities in general. You look about the room and notice that basically you don't see any personal items so much. The desk is clean and barren. The chest is closed, but you see hanging up above the chest is a large bushel of radishes, as well as a few small little bags sitting about the side of the chest, kind of to the door. One of them is open, and you can see what appears to be blueberries of some kind. Or maybe raspberries. Berries of some kind is what you'd expect. But you just met with a kind of an invasion of flavorful smells.
What's with the fruit and vegetables?
She says, well, you know, if we're trying to play pirate, well, scurvy's still a thing, she says.
I
And
thought
I
that was
just,
oranges.
well, I don't like oranges, she says. I like radishes. Do you like radishes? She says.
No, not really. I prefer turnips.
Oh, I think I got a turnip. You want a turnip? She
Oh,
says.
sure, I'll take a turnip.
She gets up and giddily runs over to her bag and roots through it a little bit and pulls out a fresh turnip and hands it to you, expectingly.
I take it.
She kind of waits, like hands to her face, like waiting for you to do something.
I take a bite.
Good, huh? She says. Grow myself.
Pretty fresh. Very good. I choke down the turnip. I was just trying to be nice.
She hurries back over and continues polishing her weapon. She says, "So, I see you lost your knife thingy yesterday,
Yeah, and that was a really cool one.
but it looks like you got a new one too." She says, pointing at the sword to your side,
Mm-hmm.
and a new. She kind of circles around your head area with her finger. A new thing.
I don't know what to call it either. Don't feel bad.
It's cool. I like it. She says.
Yep.
Well, anything I can do? Any reason you stop by?
Just to say hello and visit and be nice.
That's good. You don't see a lot of nice people this day and age who want to have the decency just to come by and say hi anymore.
Well, I'm
So,
one of those people.
something I like to see. I really miss it when we go home. You don't really see that too much. Just we're thinking of playing cards later. If you want to join us, you're more than welcome.
Sure, I think I'll get dealed in. Could always use a little bit of levity.
She says, well, oh, you'll figure it out. She says very happily.
Okay.
And as with everybody else, she seems kind of done with their conversation.
Alright, so I just leave.
As soon as you step out in the hallway, you hear a voice coming from this room over here. Did you see that ping?
Mm-hmm. I saw
Very
the ping.
good. I'm glad I'm not the only one who could see it. You hear a voice come from in there. It sounds very breathy, but basically just calls out and says, if you're gonna come in, just come in.
I walk in.
Silas is laying on the bed. He's not in bed, but he is laying on the bed. He looks like he would be asleep if you didn't know he was blind or had glasses.
Right.
He says, I know you're talking to everybody, just Come on. He kind of seems to have a hard time, but kind of gets up and kind of sits on the side of the bed, making enough room for you to sit if you wanted.
Silas, you alright?
With that, he eagerly responds with a good, generous cough that expels a little bit more of that purple gas.
I'll take that as a maybe.
He says, "I think it's just a general confusion spell as far as I can get it. I feel fine." He says. He sounds generally out of breath, but not too worrying. He says, I'm keeping up with Pelly. Don't worry too much." He says.
Alright then. But if there's anything I can help you with, please don't hesitate.
Your words kind of trail off as he kind of just. You feel like you've lost him for a minute. He's just sitting there on the side of the bed. He's got his hands clasped together, his head kind of down. He looks very grim. He doesn't seem to respond to your words like he would have a 1,000-yard stare look if you could see his eyes. Almost like someone in shock or something. Right there.
Um, I'm sorry about what happened to our friend.
You see him, one of his legs kind of start tapping like he's got restless leg. He looks somehow like he's getting worse of some kind of this stare, like he's in a really dark place right now. If you could really get into his psyche. At least that's what his appearance is showing off. You're really unsure of what to do or what to say, or if this is his normal or something, as you really haven't interacted with him enough. And between ever small coughs and his, it sounds like his voice breaking, you hear him ask, "Have you ever tried to eat a clock?"
Silas?
He slowly turns to you with these dark glasses that basically, even if they were see-through, you are not sure if you could see any life through his eyes. He says, "It's very time-consuming," and starts laughing between coughs. He says, "You take things too serious around here. Learn to lighten up."
I placed my hand to my face and is like, oh my gosh, Silas, that was a good one. That was an absolutely beautiful joke.
He kind of gives you a half smile. He says, "A line of work like this, you can't be serious 24/7 because of birds and things like that. So you learn to take the good with the bad." Really kind of pumping out a little more of this dust. You were almost inclined to cover your mouth at this point. He says, "So when you lose somebody, you can't dwell on it, as unfortunate as it is."
Alright.
As he kind of gets into this little bit of a coughing fit.
Is there like a porthole in the side of the ship we can open up?
Yeah, there's a window. It is already open. You've just
Okay,
got a
good.
small little breeze coming in. At which point, Pelly will kind of peek his head in and kind of tell you, I think we just best if we let him rest for right now. It's not really going to get any better. He needs
Alright.
rest."
So I walk out with...
You walk out as Pelly's kind of putting Silas back to bed, kind of deal.
Yeah. So I'm gonna head back up deck. Above deck.
All right, it's at this point we'll say it's probably getting a little bit later in the day. You don't believe it's too much longer before dinner time.
All right.
Let's see. Um, yeah, let's say you kind of hit some idle chat with everybody here and there as they kind of pass you doing their things. You believe you've maybe got time enough for possibly one more person?
Actually, I want to try something else instead.
Okay, fair enough.
I want to pull out my sword and just tap it to one of these cannons. See what happens.